Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Reach out to me directly. Email me at tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Today we are discussing a lovely 2021 novelty, not the Sky-Dweller, but the Sky-Dweller now available on a Jubilee bracelet. The Sky-Dweller always felt like a giant Datejust. Now on the Jubilee, a bracelet traditionally associated with the Datejust, the watch takes on even greater elegance. Much like its smaller brother, the Sky-Dweller is a fusion of dress watch and sports watch, extracting the best of both and incorporating them in one package. The watch is still 42 millimeters in diameter here in a combination of yellow gold and Rolex 904L stainless steel. As you can see, 14 millimeters thick, which is actually surprisingly thin for what it is. 50.6 millimeters from lug tip to lug tip, and a little bit narrower than when it is on the Oyster bracelet across the wrist. It is 52.2 millimeters with a 22 millimeter spacing between the lugs. Traditionally, you could not get the Sky-Dweller on a Jubilee. For 2021, Rolex decided that since the case profile and bezel were already so similar to the Datejust and the Datejust 41, why not give people the option, especially with two-tone treatment, where the watch already seems a little bit more formal. The bracelet completes the aesthetic. Taking a look at it on my 16 centimeter circumference wrist, it's still a substantial watch, but a little bit more graceful. The 5-link design is a bit more formal. It's dressier, but it's still 100-meter water resistance, fully loomed, multiply complicated, primarily steel, automatic winding sports watch. I would recommend it for a wrist as small as 14 centimeters circumference on the newly offered Jubilee bracelet. It'll fit underneath the cuff because the case band is quite sloped, and you can see that conical profile of the bezel. Taking a look at the new Jubilee, solid center links. You can see it features a solid end link junction, but it also pulls straight down, so it doesn't have a lot of fight or flare. It doesn't add extra span across the wrist in any meaningful sense. This watch features plenty of calculated gaps between the links to vent the wrist on a hot day and avoid trapping wrist heat. It also avoids pinching skin or pulling hair. The individual removable links are fixed in place using screws, and there are many removable links, so you should have no problem at all sizing this precisely. There is a lift lock system internally with a beak and a hook. You can see it latches shut, and you can see any marks on this watch are entirely fingerprints. This is immaculate. The timepiece features a straight-through yellow gold polished stripe and strake, and when you pop it open by lifting the lift lock, you can see internally there is still the Easy Link system. It's about 5 millimeters of tool-free adjustment, and then if you look carefully, you can also see there are 3 divots drilled inside the clasp, and they allow you to re-anchor the bracelet inside the clasp. So 3 ways to size: removable link, easy link, and then those 3 divots. Rolling back to the case, it is a graceful form, familiar from Date-8s and Datejusts past. Relatively narrow lugs for modern Rolex. This is not the super case. You can see there's also a handsome compound curvature to the polished case flank itself, so a little bit more grace in this case. Screw down crown, twin lock in gold. You know it's a twin lock in gold because it has those 2 dots. 100 meters water resistant. The bezel, which is beautifully finished and completely untouched by the refinisher's wheel. That's the nice thing about buying a watch that's hot off the press as a pre-owned timepiece. You know it's never been touched and it's still under warranty. Now the watch has a unique system for setting its annual calendar and its GMT. So I'm going to screw the crown out. Let's talk about the basic movement traits, and then we'll talk about the functionality. Automatic winding. This is caliber 9001, 40 joules. It is a 4 hertz beat rate. It is an annual calendar. It is a 2412 double format GMT, a COSC chronometer that Rolex then cases up, tests in 6 positions, and passes through its own standard superlative chronometer, which would be marketing jargon if they weren't guaranteeing that a superlative chronometer will run no worse than -2 + 2 seconds per day. It features a full balance bridge with a free-sprung index for shock tolerance, a handmade Breguet overcoil hairspring, so it will neither gain nor lose time regardless of its position on your wrist. It is a watch with stop seconds, so you can set it precisely against a reference time, and the hairspring is made of a blue oxidized niobium zirconium called Parachrom Blue that makes it highly anti-magnetic. Not only does it use the highly anti-magnetic blue oxidized hairspring, it uses Rolex's own shock protection, which Rolex calls Paraflex. With a 70-hour power reserve, you can put it down for a day or 2 and not worry about having to reset it. It uses a system called Ring Command that allows you to set the watch using a combination of the mobile bezel, which is part of the movement, and the crown. Now, in the first position, all the way clockwise, I can pull the crown out nothing happens. First position, I can manually wind the watch, but nothing happens right here. One click over, counterclockwise. Now I can actually drive the date as well as the month indicator forward or backwards. It is a bi-directional annual calendar. You need to reset it only once a year during the jump from February to March. Note how there's a little red index that fills the aperture outboard of each hour. 12 hours, 12 months. So what I'm looking at right here is February 1st. And of course, you can set it in both directions, and you can really fly with this quick set system. So that is how the annual calendar works. It's entirely wheel-based, so it's very, very tough. Now, turn the click one more time, counterclockwise, and now I can adjust the local hour. I can drive the date forward but not back here. Note that the watch keeps time, seconds continue to advance, the minute hand is not touched, the second time zone is not stopped. It is not affected in any way. I'm just setting the local time. Now, turn it one more time counterclockwise. Now everything moves in sync, and you'll note I've engaged stop seconds or hacking. And what you do is you set the reference time zone first. So that's a 24-hour reference ring. You set it first. And once you've set that, then you set your local time. And then finally, you set your calendar. That's how you set the Rolex Sky-Dweller. And of course, everything is deactivated when you turn that bezel all the way clockwise one more time. The hands, as well as the indices and the Rolex crown, are 18-karat yellow gold to resist tarnish or oxidation over time. The dial is a lovely gloss black base. And as you can see, it uses Rolex's proprietary blue Chromolite lume. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.